Welcome to Mornings on Main Street on this Wednesday, 24th of May. I'm your host, Stefanie Miller. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Today, we are continuing our talk with journalist and author Tim Ghianni. Ghianni spent 33 years writing for local newspapers in the Middle Tennessee area. And then today, he shares with us his early days in Music City and how he forged his connections with several legendary singer-songwriters. And then we take you to Pulaski's historic Antoinette Hall Opera House. Built in 1868, Antoinette Hall still stands. Fun fact, the original owner of the Opry House named the Opera House in honor of his wife, Antoinette. We have more on what the future could hold for Antoinette Hall in a few minutes. And then have you considered attending a leadership or some development conference? I know I have a time or two, but it's always the money that seems to stop me from going. Well, today we learn what we could be missing out on by not attending. But first, let's get a check of our headlines. The body of this woman, 25-year-old Chase Stafford, was found floating in the Cumberland River below Cheatham Dam. This is according to the Cheatham County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigative Division detective. Stafford was last seen with her boyfriend, who had dropped her off on Chapmansboro Road in Ashland City, according to other media reports. Now, a backpack containing Stafford's belongings had been found on a roadside in Cheatham County. The CCSO is asking for anyone who had contact with Stafford between Monday, May 9th and Wednesday, May 11th, to please contact their office's Criminal Investigation Division. Go to mainstreetmediatn.com for the contact number and more on this investigation. Well, 39% of third grade students in Metro Nashville Public Schools will need to retake the statewide English language arts test for scoring below proficient. MNPS calls the standards on the test intentionally difficult and say that they may not reflect the growth or even the progress your student may be making towards their learning goals. Read more about the retake, the results, and what MNPS has to say by going to mainstreetmediatn.com. On the same topic, in the Clarksville-Montgomery County school system, 40% of all third grade students will be provided support this summer and or next school year to prepare for and to be promoted to the fourth grade. Now, based on the scores from the test in April, of the 40%, a third of students will need to attend summer learning programs and receive free tutoring before or during fourth grade to be promoted. Learn how the district was being proactive ahead of the TCAP and what the Chief Communications Officer for CMCSS shared with Main Street Clarksville by going to mainstreetclarksville.com. Okay, will the sunshine be with us later today and tomorrow? I hope so. It's been so lovely outside. Let's see what's in the forecast for all of us by turning to Tennessee Valley weather.
Hey folks, happy Wednesday. Ben Luna here with you in the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. Again, tracking, you guessed it, more scattered storms for today. Not many though, as we head through the afternoon, just enough moisture in the atmosphere. We'll set off maybe one or two little sprinkles across the region, hugging close to the I-40 corridor across the mid-state through the mid-afternoon, and then those will filter from the north to the south as the day progresses. Now, almost in a sense, we can copy and paste this outlook to the day tomorrow. A dry start in the morning and then a smidgen of a few scattered storms here for your Thursday afternoon. Temperatures not half bad, right around 80 degrees for today and tomorrow. And keep in mind those rain chances on the lower side between 10 and 20% area wide. Those numbers do increase for tomorrow, for Friday though, as we do close in toward the weekend. Showers and thunderstorms will be here Friday afternoon and evening. Some of that will spill over into early Saturday before conditions improve again on Sunday. That's a quick check on your forecast. Thank you for watching. Here's a final look at the 7-day weather outlook. Make it a great Wednesday, and we'll talk to you soon.
Please vote Pamela with First Lending Solutions, online best mortgage lender in Main Street Awards Best of Dickson County. Thank you for your vote.
Always enjoy getting our weather from our friends over at Tennessee Valley Weather. Thank you guys. All right, this morning we now get to continue our conversation with author and journalist Tim Ghianni. He has seen so much in his years in Music City. As we learned the last time, he was working for the Leaf Chronicle in Clarksville, Tennessee, before moving on to a newspaper in Nashville. And this morning, again, he shares with us more on how he forged his connections with some legendary individuals. Your first connection, your first country music connection, that first article there in Nashville, who was that first one?
Well, the very first one was actually the first story I wrote. I can't even remember. Now Bobby Bear is the first story in my book, and he was my first friend in the music business. But my first connections to tell these stories actually came from when I was in the entertainment editor at the Banner, and my entertainment writers came in later than I would come in at 4:30 in the morning, but they worked nights, so they didn't come in till later in the morning. And so if an obituary, if somebody died overnight who was in the entertainment business, I would try to get it, because we had a paper that went out at 8:15 in the morning. Our first edition had to be out of the newsroom by 8:15 in the morning. So I was doing obituaries of entertainers. So my very first one, which is not in this book, the incident is in this book. It was like Floyd Kramer or Danny Davis, who were session players, also great entertainers. They died. I got the obit, and I didn't know who to call because I was relatively new in entertainment coverage. I was a news guy, but I called Chet Atkins. I looked in the phone book, and Chet Atkins still, in those days, everybody was still in the phone book. And so I called the number and I talked to Chet, and we began a long relationship. I talked to Chet to find out who to talk to about this person who'd passed. And also he gave me he gave me quotes, but he gave me other names and numbers of people to call. And that grew from there. I kept those names and numbers. And then anytime somebody would die in the entertainment business, I would call. Chet would be my first call. He was a wonderful man. People may not know Chet anymore, but he was a great guitar player, and also he was the boss at RCA here in Nashville, and he was a great studio executive, in addition to all of his other attributes, and also a very, very kind man. But I would always start with Chet, and then in fact, he told me finally, he said, one of these days, my wife and I were joking, Tim, one of these days you're going to call, and I won't answer because you're going to be calling about me, and I'll be deceased. And so they laughed about that. I do have his wife. After Chet died, he was a hand carver, a woodworker and wood carver by hobby, and he had a hand carved, a nameplate on his desk on Music Row, and his wife gave me that, which I have in my office, that he had carved. She said she knew I'd want something from Chet. And so he was my first real contact. Again, Stefanie, was the whole principle, though, went back to, and doing these stories and meeting these people as time went on, it was the same principle that we're all alike. We're more the same than different. And same hopes, fears, and ambitions, which drove me to my real people type columns, slice life columns. And it was also the way that I befriended musicians. It's nothing artificial. It's just my belief in that fact that they're at the base of everything else. They may be great stars, but they're human beings. And so I focused on the humanity and was able to befriend an awful lot of them over the years. And it was a great pleasure. It was an honor for me to know these people. So hope that answered that question.
It did. And in your book, Pilgrims, Pickers, and Honky Tonk Heroes, you have stories from George Jones, Earl Scruggs, Johnny Cash, Johnny and June Cash. Looking at it, it's almost a way to keep who they are and the music that they put out alive. Would you say that?
Yeah, it is. What I wanted to do, and I wanted to remind people of who these people were. Too often, they've been overlooked anymore because the music has changed dramatically. The city has changed too dramatically. These people were being forgotten, and so I wanted to make sure that they weren't forgotten. Most of them are gone now, and I had a list of 30-some people eventually that I was calling each of them at least once every 3 weeks, just to let them know that they still were important, that even though they were not part of the state of the industry then, they weren't stars anymore, they were still very important to me and to other people. And that was the basis of all my writing about them. I got to go visit with them. And all of these people, they became friends. I would go visit with them, either maybe for a story, but then I would stay, I would keep their notes and keep everything about them, and plus my observations. And I was able to try to illustrate who these people were. Most of these folks were big stars. Most of these folks remain important. Most of them are deceased now, but they shouldn't be forgotten. No more than what Nashville was should be forgotten. Nashville's a heck of a place now, but it was to me it was a better place back then.
It truly was such a joy to talk with Tim. He seems phenomenal, and I cannot wait to meet him in person. So tomorrow, stick with us because we have our third part of our conversation with Tim Ghianni for you on Mornings on Main Street tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Now, stick with us because when we come back, we are traveling to Antoinette Hall Opera House in Giles County, Tennessee. This opera house is gorgeous in its own right, though it is in need of a lot of love. What's being done with the restoration project and what the future could hold, we have more when we come back.
There's a lot to consider when it comes to choosing a Medicare plan. That's where Health Markets Insurance Agency can help. Independent licensed insurance agents who work with Health Markets can answer your questions about the different parts of Medicare, when you can enroll, benefits, costs, and more. Speak to a local licensed insurance agent today to get started on your Medicare journey.
Vote for us Best Burgers and Breakfast in the Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. We look forward to serving you. Thank you for your vote.
Main Street Awards Best of Dixon County is happening now. Please vote for Redbird Realty. We appreciate your support.
Up these stairs is what used to be Antoinette Hall Opera House, an opera house built in 1868. It actually opened up Christmas of 1868. Unfortunately, it is not in the state that it used to be, but it is still beautiful. We have the Executive Director of Staar Theatre and Center for the Arts of Antoinette Hall. We have Tammy Pierchoski with us. Thank you, Tammy. And
thank you.
I so appreciate your time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I could share for days about Antoinette Hall because that is truly the heart of what I believe Pulaski is right now.
You know, you can feel it. You can feel kind of just that energy when you first open the door and you walk in. Mm-hmm. Share a little bit more about what Antoinette Hall was to Pulaski at that time.
Okay, so in 1867, there was this terrible fire on this downtown square, and this side of the square burned down. So in 1868, Mr. Antoinette Cox was commissioned by the gentlemen in the community who were clamoring for amusements. That's what it said in the paper.
Oh, I love it.
And he decided to build this grand hall to bring people back together, be a unifying place. He named it Antoinette Hall after his wife. It was later named the Pulaski Opera House. So if you Google it, it'll come up under either one.
Okay.
And there's just a total rich history on it on our website at AntoinetteHall.com. It is the total full history with pictures, as many as we've been able to locate. And then the future, of course, of what we hope to do with it. But it was a wonderful kind of vaudevillian theater, if you will, as when it was built. And as you see, it has the horseshoe balcony. It seated about 450 people. It has a raked stage. That's what it was called when it was sloped from back to front, a raked stage. It had original gas globe footlights in the front of it. Retrofitted later, of course, with electricity. But the charm and the beauty and the stature of something like that, Pulaski was quite a hopping town in the 1800s, so that was really special, and it stayed in existence until about the mid-1930s, so it's been closed for 90 years.
Oh, it is about time that something be done and bring that beauty back. You know, I plucked one of the pamphlets that was upstairs, and I noticed in a picture a elaborate, exquisite chandelier.
Yes, again from newspaper articles, we've been able to determine that there was a plaster medallion in the center of the room and one single huge chandelier that hung. So we of course are going to try to replicate that and try to replicate everything from that time era. We want you to feel like you are stepping back into the 1800s when you step into that theater.
Oh, that would be amazing. You also had some offices up there. Did I notice that? I saw a name on one of the doors.
Yes, you have J.L. Jones, lawyer, is on one of the doors. And what we're planning on doing, so when Antoinette Hall was built in the 1800s, it was a standalone. It did not have like a pre-function space or anything. It just stood by itself. So as these buildings built on either side of it, offices, of course, filled those buildings. And the interesting thing about Antoinette Hall is it is built on the second floor.
Right.
So you might find that, you know, interesting or unusual about a theater. Of course, back then they didn't have ADA compliances that you have to do, and we will, of course, with the elevators and everything proper that we need. But it was horse and buggy days. This was like back in dirt streets. So this was a time where when they built something of that elegant stature, it was women in their finery and the gentlemen in their suits, and I mean it was a very formal affair. So yes, it was a grand space for sure.
I can only imagine. So where are you at? What's happening with it now, and what do you guys hope to do?
Okay, we are trying right now, of course arts education is our major component downstairs for the theater that we have on the street level. By continuing the arts education and drawing more attention to the community and to Antoinette Hall, our hopes of course are to bring this back, because it's the oldest opera house in the state of Tennessee, and from what we can determine, it's the second oldest in the nation.
No kidding.
That is built as an opera house and remained one until it closed. So yes, of course, it is our dream to bring it back, because it's truly a cornerstone for our beautiful downtown square. It would just complement the courthouse so much. It will bring the nightlife back to our community. We know in our heart of hearts that it's time for Antoinette Hall to get that curtain raised. So yes, we're making big efforts in the next few years to make that happen. The main thing right now is the raising awareness. So please tell everyone that you know about Antoinette Hall. Share our story, because it truly is remarkable. And when I shared with you that we went up there not knowing what was there and opened those doors and walked into that hall, we're a community theater and we landed in this beautiful space. So it's our mission, and in order to help, there's ways to donate. You can of course go on the website on AntoinetteHall.com. Again, share it on social media if you want to. Get in touch with us. If you have some special person that you think needs to see this, who might want to be involved and contribute and help, give me a call. I'll be glad to give them a tour any time of the day or night, and just come see us. And if you're just curious and want to see it in person, there's nothing like walking into that room in person. So come take a look and come be a part of making this special part of history, bring it back again.
Could you imagine bringing and restoring Antoinette Hall, bringing it back to life? I mean, being the oldest in our state, as you just mentioned,
yeah,
and second
absolutely.
oldest in the nation.
Yeah. So yes, oldest in the state of Tennessee. So Tennessee folks, this is for you. We're like a baby Ryman down here. We just want someone to come love on her a little bit and bring that back to life again and raise that curtain.
We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. Vote for us in Best Burger, Best Dessert, Best Overall Restaurant, Best to Go, Best Dining Deal.
Vote for Area 51 Tech Solutions for Best Computer and Electronic Repair in Main Street Awards Best of Dixon. Thank you for your vote.
Welcome back. We have a familiar face with us. We have Derek Eurales. He is our sales and leadership coach, where we get a lot of information from. Southwestern Consulting. First up again, thank you for always coming by.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
I did pay the meter. Took care of that. Yeah, it's funny.
Our director makes sure that he takes care of that meter so he doesn't get towed.
Thank you, Mark.
So, Derek, again, as we mentioned in the past, you've been doing this for quite some time. How many in the years that you've been doing sales leadership have you attended conferences?
Oh, all the time. They're so important. Conferences to learn, to continue to keep the saw sharpened. It's really important because we have a lot of things that we know. And if you don't attend things like that where you can get renewed and stuff, then you're just going stale. It's kind of like every day, and I heard a colleague say this, every day you do personal hygiene. You wash yourself or whatever, brush your teeth, comb your hair, which I don't have much of that, but don't worry about that. Besides the point. But every day you wash yourself up, and then it's kind of like renewing your mental clarity around the stuff that you want to do with your business or with your sales. So going to these conferences, we've got a retreat coming up in October that we're looking forward to. And then at Southwestern Consulting, we do 2 of these just renewal conferences every year with all of the coaches that are involved with us. But it's important because you get the opportunity to, just exclusively come together and get recharged. Right. So that's the power of attending sales, leadership conferences, retreats, helping you to build relationships and really understanding what success is all about and how to make more of that happen. You can't do it by yourself. There's plenty of people out who are able to help. So yeah, I believe in it.
So that was the point of my question for me asking him. Derek has been doing this for a long time. He attends these continually so he can refresh. So when you're getting out there and you're looking for your sales and leadership coach, you grab one and they suggest you going to a conference, or if you're looking on your own, we're talking about the benefits of actually attending the conference. Yes, it costs travel money. Yes, it costs money to go, but could be, and Derek's going to answer this one. What return on investment of going are people seeing?
And they're seeing the return on investment when they're able to not just only take the notes from the stuff that they do, the attendance, but also go and implement that. And sometimes with the help of a coach, they can remind you, hey, do those action points that you said you were going to do. But we have the pleasure of being in a city that is internationally known as a great place to not only live, work, do business, but there's also conferences that come right here. So in the Middle Tennessee area, you've got the Nashville Metro that are plenty of conferences around, and we've got one that's coming up, as I was mentioning to you. I don't know if I mentioned off camera or on camera that we've got one coming up in October. It's called an Elite Retreat, and we're sponsoring it. It's called the Results Blueprint, where we're bringing a bunch of great people into town. One of the former CEOs of Bridgestone, Gary Garfield, is going to be with us, and a couple of other folks. But right now, we're helping people to reserve their spot so that they can get in on it. What's the benefit? A couple of highlights, just encompassing musical experience, because this is Nashville.
Very true.
In Nashville, we will have some music,
Without a doubt.
and power pack sessions on problem solving, emotional intelligence for leaders, servant leadership, servant selling. It's going to be great. So yeah, that's one of the things that I believe in, we believe in. So you might as well have access to one here. You can, you don't have to go far. So that covers the travel portion of it. Another thing is really the benefit of having this is also making new relationships. We're in a community where we don't know all of the people that are here, but establishing new relationships is all about being willing to go and willing to open oneself up to the new opportunities that are available in the area. So.
Where can we get more information on the retreat the elite retreat that you're offering?
They can go to southwesternconsulting.com/elite-retreat. There are plenty of people that we're connected to. Our professional folks in the community. You can typically ask anyone who is in the leadership space, what's a good event for me to go to? And there's plenty of them there. So not just the one that I'm, putting out there because I'm passionate about it and it's the company that I'm part of.
Right.
But there's plenty out there that you can do. And then you can also contact me. You can reach out to me. We're buddies. We're buddies anyway.
By now, yes, we are.
You can call me.
So the benefits of retreats, and again, it's just a wealth and a source of information.
It is.
Derek Eurales, we always appreciate him, sales and leadership coach with Southwestern Consulting. Thank you for your time as always.
Thank you.
Anytime. Stick with us. We have more coming up after this.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
Tired of hanging lights every year? We get it. That's why Southern Nights is here to help. We install programmable lighting on your home or business so you can enjoy beautiful, customizable lighting all year round. No more ladders, tangled lights, or cold nights outside. We do the work, you do the celebrating. Call Southern Nights today and take the hassle out of holiday lighting forever. For a free quote, give us a call at 931-241-3074 or visit our Facebook page at Southern Nights.
Vote for us Best Insurance in the Main Street Awards Best of Dixon voting. Micah Blount State Farm Insurance. Thank you for your vote.
Welcome back. It's time now to take a look back at Sweet Tea's Gelato and Cafe from Saturday. You'll see in this video, Scott Hamilton, who is a gold medal winner in figure skating. He was on hand as they were helping to raise money for the CARES Foundation. CARES Foundation does so much work with cancer research and the advancements of treatment. But over the weekend, on Saturday, they were doing a fundraiser there for a couple of hours in the afternoon. And Scott Hamilton came out to be the celebrity scooper. And as you can see, it was a great attendance. I did hear from them saying that they did, in fact, have a wonderful turnout, and they thank everyone for being so supportive and that they will continue to show support to the White Bluff community. Thank you again for joining us here on Mornings on Main Street for this Wednesday. We look forward to seeing you back here on Thursday. But until then, if you would like to catch all of our podcasts and shows, you can go to Main Street Media, TV, mobile, right on your phone. All right, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a great day.